Oh, wow. Oh, another week is over.
Yeah, I'd like to welcome you into the show, ShowLove. I am your host, Alvin.
And I'm Andrea.
And we're going to go over finance this week. And
because remember last week we said that we would go over money because money had came up a lot the last week.
Right.
So,
yeah, money, that's a big thing in relationships, as we know. And just want to go over some of that with you tonight. Now, when we first started our relationship, baby, I'm trying to remember back. You have to help me out. Money in our relationship when we first started out.
It was tight. We had
yeah.
Your child, my child, and our child. And it was hard. We were young. You were more established in your career field. I was getting out of the military. And coming together was hard.
It was difficult in the beginning, I will say. But one thing about it, we worked together.
Yeah, we did.
And when you work together and put your money together, everything will turn out pretty good.
But it didn't start that way.
It didn't start that way.
Our upbringing was different. Everybody will tell you to hold your coins to yourself. When you get married, it's like, that's your money. We had to really kind of establish that on our own. Now, I'm glad that we did do that because in the beginning, coming together, you used to having your own money.
Right.
And, you were established at your account. I had my own account. And then...
And I will say, it was kind of difficult in the beginning. Getting used to putting our money together. It was kind of difficult.
But I don't think it was us, though. I think it was the pressure from outside the house. Those little sidebar conversations where, well, does he give you money? And in your senses... am I taking your money? That beginning thing of of really trying to establish yourself as a couple. And like you said, we did do it early off because we had children depending on us.
And we had to had to be able to take care and support our little ones. So hey.
And we were young at the time too. So we still had we got to think we were 25, 24 years old or whatever at the time, 20. And you still have things you want to do. Everybody our age wasn't doing a family then. Right. And if they were not, I guess, as old nature as we were at that time.
And we were some young old parenting.
Yeah, little old people at heart.
But it got us through some of our needs and wants.
Yeah, because I remember when we first sat down and talked about money. Actually, I think I might have led that conversation.
I think you did.
And I was like, hey, look, we need to make sure that we put everything together. What are your things that you gotta have, your got-tos? And back then, one of your younger things was, what was the thing? What did you tell me that had to be?
I said I had that back in that time. I think I was drinking beer at that time.
Yeah, you said beer.
Yeah, that's as long as I got some beer.
As long as I got what you said. What was this?
12 pack.
Yeah, 12 pack of beer. So we put 12 pack of beer on the grocery list.
Yeah.
So that was something that you felt like, hey, baby, if I got 12 pack of beer, friend come over, I want to be able to offer my beer. As a man, I work hard, I want beer. So we made that important. And some people might say, had I shared that with somebody, well, why he had to have a 12 pack of beer? Well, that was your want. And you remember what my want was? What did I really want?
What you really wanted was the bill to be paid.
That's it. I did not want the lights off, water off, gas off.
And I was like, really?
And I know you thought that was weird. That's all you want? I'm just, cut like that, where I just wanted to feel safe that we had the roof over our head. Right. That's what made me. That's the kind of woman I am.
Bills paid.
Bills to be paid.
There you know.
So we made sure we sat down and did the needs and the wants. And I remember that was hard. Do you remember how much money used to be left over after we did everything?
If I told you, you wouldn't believe it. And I know you don't believe it because I barely believe it now in our older age now.
Do you remember the number?
It was like $30.
$30.
$30
It was
left
$30 left over. And I still look back on that and think, but that was $30 of positive cash flow. Everything was taken care of.
Yeah.
Like everything. We stretched them $30 too. And you know what? We used to do Netflix back when Netflix was $1.99.
Yeah, Netflix was a big thing back when we were coming up.
We used to get it in the mail.
I think, now with the pandemic, they think it's popular now. We made it popular back then.
Oh, we should have got some stock in that because we were getting it every week. Back when we got it in the mail. We used to see all the good movies. The children didn't know any difference because we made it family time. Back
when it was what? DVDs
in the
That's
mail.
How old.
You used to get 3 at a time.
Wow.
Yeah, so we took care of our needs and wants. And then I think where we might have been ahead of our time is that we made that our grateful point, to just know that everything was covered, not having to ask anybody for nothing.
Right.
And not angry with each other if you didn't have what others have, because we didn't believe in looking at and comparing our money and to other people's money, counting other folks' pockets and our worth.
Exactly.
We were content. And I think us being equally yoked had a lot to do with that.
Yeah.
I think that was,
And that was a part of growth that I think, that is part of that helped our growth in our marriage, that we were able to go out and do our family like that and have something for us positive to do that was recreational, to make it look not so bad to that's all we had left. But in a sense, that was a great learning tool, even for our kids, because they know that you have to get out and work for it.
But that was the happiest time. When we had, the less we had more time with each other. And the kids had no idea. Like, because you had to think, even though we had those Netflix movies, we had popcorn.
Yeah.
That they had
the theater
us
stuff at the house.
And all of us together. You weren't in one room doing something, I was in another room doing something. We were there as a family with the lights out on the sofa, really making sure that we were grateful for everything that we had. And we never, and you know what, we modeled for our kids. We didn't sit around and talk about what we don't have, what we wish we could have. And because I think sometimes you can make bitterness in your relationship if you're with other people who were, like me being a woman. I'm with the woman who's always buying the Louis Vuitton purses, and she's going shopping every week, getting her hair done every week. And sometimes you can look at what other people value and then just kind of desynthesize yourself on what's important to you. So I think we both did well, and you could have done the same thing, But one thing we shared, being equally yoked, again, I think we said that more than once, is that when we both value just having necessities, we're simple people.
We're simple, very simple. Mm-hmm. And then that brings up another question that came to my mind. People would always want to borrow, and can I get a loan from you? And back I want to tell the people I don't have it, so
you don't want to say that.
Don't want to give them that impression.
But remember, that's also one of the first things that you and I talked about, that I share. My belief is that my money doesn't belong to me. I believe that God provides us and sustains us where we're supposed to be, and He also tells us who we're supposed to help or aid. And that was difficult, when you're a Southern family where there's these expectations where you're supposed to do a certain thing or help certain people, but I always kind of made sure that God let me do it. And sometimes I realized that God will use you to help somebody that wouldn't expect it, because then it's a blessing. To me, when you're asking and someone does it for you, that doesn't mean you pick and choosing who you think can bless you. You never know. And I remember, we have several experiences where God has led us to help in an area that we didn't think we were supposed to, and then He took what we gave, which was a sacrifice. We didn't have but $30 left over, and increased and multiplied what we gave. And that's how you know that you're doing what you're supposed to do. When I think I learned that about finances. If you are helping in the manner that God wants you to help people, He will multiply it.
He will multiply it, and you will see your blessings. You'll see your blessings.
If you're not supposed to do,
exactly.
You're going to
see it the other way.
Instead of increasing, it's going to decrease.
Decreasing.
Yes, people might be smiling and happy and telling you, "Thank you for blessing me," but you done messed up your household.
Right.
And which brings me to this. The one thing I liked about us, and what made you a keeper, darling, is that we communicate before we go into the account. and take money. I don't care who it was. We would communicate with each other because we know, me and you knew at that time there was $30 left over. So we got to be very mindful.
That's very, very mindful.
And you remember some of the comments you would get, like, not just you but me. You know, we were living in a house, and we you know, for that age, we're doing all right. You know, to be young, to be told, you know, you ain't got no money.
You ain't got no money.
You mean tell me you can't? I'm thinking to myself, you ain't got it either.
I'm
you
living.
asking me for
I'm living.
it? I'm
we living. Can we
I'm
live?
straight. You know, I'm okay at the house. You know, I only need it when I gotta leave. That's nothing. You gotta make home comfortable. You know, if you think about what you don't have, you'll never have enough. You know, I told the girls at all the time, don't focus on what you don't have. Don't be around people that are always thinking like that, because then you're miserable all the time.
All the time.
Be thankful for life that you have it. Be grateful for life. Yeah, so, you know, and then, you know, saving is not something that we could really do in the beginning a whole lot. So we did that controlled saving. We decided we're going to vacation. We save,
we'll save
and then go.
Then we'll go.
And your favorite saying, I love it, you can't take it with you.
Exactly. I never seen nobody putting an ATM in the ground with you when you leave here. So you might as well spend it while you can.
And then, you know, that's something too. Like, if you know that you can't save, then just make sure that you're covered. Like, if something happens to you, you know, your premiums can take care of the people that are left behind, because that's kind of the reality of where we are. The way the economy has been, since we've been together, we made it through. I think we bought our home when everybody else was selling theirs, you know, because we didn't have credit cards and things like that. We were living that cash life.
The cash life, and
that really saved us.
Yes, that saved us.
Them we had $30 left, but they were ours. We didn't owe nobody nothing, you know. And so that short-term saving for goals, to make sure that you. Because I remember hearing that too. You ain't got no money left over, then how y'all go to Tennessee for a week? How'd you go there for, you know? Because people are curious, you know. They're curious about how you do, but it's because we planned. We planned. And sometimes you have the onlookers that look from the outside, and people love to look through that little window and just say, "Hey, I know they got it." But, you know, I think that's because we some happy people.
We just never really asked nobody.
But we happy too. So, we even though at that time, you know, you gotta have 3 young children. Three. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You know, at the time where a lot of our
and the youngest one was like infant, yeah.
It
finna be a toddler. So
three, and then it's like, how dare you ask somebody for something that got 3 small kids? Yeah. But you know, the thing is that we made sure that the girls were all taken care of. You know, making sure that they had the things that they needed. Yeah. A few things that they wanted. But I think the thing we gave them that was the most valuable is our time, because that's all we had.
And our love.
And our love. Oh yeah, and our love. You're right about that. Yeah. They had mama and daddy. Yeah. They really did.
They didn't just have one. They didn't have a one-parent house. They had a 2-parent house.
And we were a blended home, and that's a whole nother show.
Yeah, that's a whole nother one.
Yeah, that might be 2 shows.
Yeah,
that might be 3 shows. Yeah,
it's a lot of material. Yeah, we might have to chalk that up into that.
Yeah, that's. Mm-hmm.
And even with the bills, we paid for our bills, and we put our money together. And once we make sure everything in the house was taken care of, then hey, whatever was left over, that's what we had, and that's what we did. Whatever we had to do with.
But you know what? We keep talking about those $30. That's my favorite time to talk about, you know, because when I look back on it, it's just amazing, because we did a lot of stuff. We had so much fun. And even only having them $30, we still took one good trip each year. Not a little trip. Yeah. Remember, we said we would go wherever the car could take us, because we couldn't fly everybody at that time. And the girls, I just remember them being really, really, really happy to just go and see somewhere, you know. And at that time, we would have been one of those families where the children, because, you know, I'm being in education, I know how teachers say, oh, the children, they haven't been anywhere. They haven't been across the bridge, you know, whatever. But our kids did see stuff. They did go places. We tried to make it educational wherever we went. And let's not forget, when we went, you don't have to go on vacation and ball out. You know me, I miss skillet. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
The continental breakfast.
We gonna cook
we brought our own
breakfast
sausage.
in the room.
They had the continental breakfast. You know, they add, what they usually had, like the little pancake and this and that. We bring our hot plate, add some sausage.
Add some sausage into it, sure did. And you wouldn't think that, but hey, we had to make it work. We were there, though. We made it work.
We were there. You think the kids cared about that? No, we were there.
And they loved being in hotels.
Jokers are spoiled. Yeah. They love it nice because we laid our head pretty. And that's one thing. When we stayed nice. And those were some really good times. And the road trips, they love the road trips.
Road trips, yeah.
Yeah, so so even though you're paying your bills, like you said, just being able to making sure that you do schedule your fun as your vacation and, your reward for your hard work. And a vacation does not have to be miles away. And when you just go into another city, if you're on a budget and you go, there's plenty of history wherever you go. Monuments, I love the fact that we're watching TV. There's not too many places we haven't seen or been.
Yeah.
And it's just neat to go, hey, I remember we walked down that street.
And that just was I guess as a kid when I was growing up, that's what I thought about. I used to love seeing different places. And I was a big, huge fan of Price is Right. Mm-hmm. And Price is Right, they would show some of the things on there about the little vacation spots. And me being a kid, I didn't know, hey, I don't know if I ever go see this place. But man, when I seen Hawaii, I said, man, I got to go there. Because the color of the water and the beaches and people out there surfing and the sand, and it just was I said, I want to go to Hawaii. That was my lifetime goal that I wanted to do in life before I left here.
And now we done been 2 or 3 times.
We done been 3 times.
And going again. That's one of my favorite places too. But I was kind of disappointed when I got there that first time we went to Honolulu, even though Oahu. Mm-hmm. And even though the Big Island is my favorite now, is that when we went, the first thing we went is over to the beach, and they're like, "Oh no!"
Yeah.
What they said, the locals only do that.
The one guy, he told us, he was our tour guide, and he was like, he said, "Sharky, swim out there," and he said, "You swim
at the hotel."
The hotel. Yeah. And I was like, "Okay, so that means you telling me that there's sharks out there. So I guess I'm gonna swim there." So I got the girls. We went to the pool. I think we was in the pool water. We had a good time in the little pool water, but
the expectation was in Hawaii to be out there in their water. But that water was choppy though. Yeah, it really was. It was. And you didn't see anybody on the beach.
Well, they was on the beach, but
they weren't in the water. Yeah, they weren't in the water.
It just was a crazy thing because we woke up that morning and remember it was kids out there surfing, little kids out there surfing early in the morning, like 7:00 in the morning.
And the biggest thing I remember about going to, what was different about the Big Island, which I love, and Oahu, was that they love some Spam.
Oh yeah,
Spam! I was like, Spam or treat me. It was like a delicatessen.
That's a can of Spam over there. Oh my gosh, it probably cost $8.
But it was a delicatessen, and the thing was, Spam was gourmet.
Yeah,
and it made me look at Spam totally different. And then you made the joke, we had to treat meat.
Old treat.
And then the treat meat.
That ain't the real Spam.
They got just a little bit more fat around the corner.
But
oh my goodness,
that was such a great vacation. And vacation is very important.
Yeah, because you got to be able to
relationship. Because you got to be able to let your hair down and relax. Because you're working every day, 8 hours a day, and
taking care of your family, sacrificing,
and that gets tiring.
To have $30 left over, that was a sacrifice on your behalf, and a sacrifice on my behalf. That's some love.
Yeah. And we were very grateful for being able to go out and provide and do the thing for the girls because we wanted them to, get y'all out of the house where y'all see something different.
Yeah.
And they love, like I said, they love the hotel.
My favorite story, in life was that because we always laid our hair pretty.
Yeah.
We was either 4 or 5.
4 or 5 stars.
Yeah. I'll never forget when the oldest had to go look at the colleges.
Oh yeah.
And she called and she was like, "Mom, they got us at this place. What y'all say this place is called? It's a motel. Mom, I don't feel safe. The doors are outside. They're not in the hallway." And I just said, and she was all in high school. Yeah, had never stayed or seen a motel.
Had never seen a motel.
I would never forget that. That is just hilarious. She's probably going to get us for sharing that story. But it was just, no, she won't. She won't. She know that's the truth. That was the truth. She's like, because she vowed I would never stay.
The call that we got that night was almost like, come get me.
Oh, yeah. Because remember, I was like, your auntie is down that way. She can come get you. Well, yeah, she needs to come get me. I don't feel safe. She's like, no, Mom. Our doors are facing the street.
Yes.
So that lets you know, though, that they grew up really liking the hotels. And then remember we went to Destin. Mm-hmm. And we, again, laying our hair pretty.
A nice Marriott.
Nice. I'm talking about very nice. Them jokers supposed to be on the beach. Yeah, what they do?
We on the beach. And
we chilling. They say they'll be back.
I'm looking around. I'm like, they say they'll be back.
They ain't coming back. We go up to the room and what are they doing?
These jokers done ordered some dog room service. They eating good up in the hotel.
They thinking about the beach.
Grandbaby over there asleep.
And because the thing was that they're grown now and they realize how much 4 and 5-star hotels cost, and they're like, oh man, we going back up to the hotel. Yeah, so we built memories, and I think that's the biggest thing is that finances, living, and just living and planning and making memories instead of focusing on what you don't have, just being grateful. And that's one thing I would say we've always stayed grateful. I enjoy the mornings back then that when you kind of hold my hand, just like I feel grateful, I'm thankful, or that look you have on your face that I used to catch you from a distance, just kind of looking accomplished, because you're the only boy in the house. You
caught me catching you.
I caught you, just how you would look.
Oh, she caught
satisfied at the fact that you were able to provide for us. That's just something that is super sexy for one, and then for two, it just kind of make you. Feel, because you're a modest person. You don't really say a whole lot. So you're a man of few words. And so to just kind of see you looking over and going, wow, I did this, legally, you know what I'm saying? And just be satisfied and content. And I'm not talking about like where we are now. I'm talking about when the whole time, how we felt now is how we felt then. And that's how I think you get blessed with increase. You got to take care. I always tell the girls, take care of what you got now. You can't ask God to give you a new car and you ain't taking care of the one you got. Whatever you got, that's your Lexus, that's your BMW, that's your Mercedes. Whatever you want in the future, you treat what you got right now just like you would treat that vehicle. Because how should you get another one if you're not grateful for what you already have? And so that's, I think, too, is very important. And some people might be thinking, what does that got to do with finances? It has everything to do with finances. Yeah, everything to do with finances.
And even sometimes, even throughout giving, time of the year for Christmas, I remember this because I felt good around that time of year when we did this, and we would always give to this family.
And you know what?
And man, that just makes me feel so much better about trying to give to somebody else that was less fortunate. Because at that time, we were starting to move a little bit.
And I liked our strategy for that. We taught the girls to pick things that they would want. We didn't just give all of our old nice things. Ain't nothing wrong with that. We did that too. But this family, we picked a family that wouldn't qualify for stuff like we didn't, because we made too much money to get assistance.
Right.
And not enough money to feel like you didn't need some assistance. And so we looked for all that hard-working, middle-class family that mirrored ours. And that first year we did that, when we wrote the letters from the girls, we'll never see these people will never see us. And those girls, our girls picked out what they wanted to have. And we went to the store, bought it brand new, and they gave for Christmas instead of receiving for Christmas. Yeah. Now, I do remember that was hard for us at that time, because you got to think, we gave Christmas to another family instead of our own.
Right.
And then we didn't do a whole lot of gifting outside the house. We would do handmade gifts or things like that, the gifts from the heart or whatever. And I'm like you, that meant something. And each year, that feeling we got. Yeah. My favorite year is the year that we delivered to a project area.
Right.
And you went up the stairs, because we dropped the gifts off so that it's supposed to be just like Santa had came and dropped it off. The people don't see you, put our little notes. And I think that's the part of the giving I like, is that you don't get any type of acknowledgement for it or whatever. Right. And you got caught.
I got caught. But this the thing now. You got to think now, baby. We was in the projects. I dressed up as Santa Claus, and we.
What time in the morning was it?
That was like before it got light outside. It
2
was
or 3 o'clock.
No, it was about 6:30.
6:30, yeah.
And it hadn't got bright outside yet, and I'm in a Santa suit
It
in
was
the
a
hood.
little earlier than that. I think it was like 5 o'clock.
Yeah, it might have been right. It was early before it got light.
Yeah, it was before it got light. It was about 5 o'clock in the morning.
But I'm walking around in the hood in a Santa suit that I don't know nobody, and they don't know who I am.
You had to go upstairs.
And I went up the stairs and knocked on the door.
And left the bag.
And they had the light on in the living room. I never forget. They had the light on in the living room. I knocked on the door and I heard some voices. And when I heard the voice, I just turned around and walked away. And the little boy,
what the little boy said.
Little boy looked out the curtain and he told his mom. He said, "Mama, it's Santa Claus." And I don't know what she said, but they opened the door, and I was exiting and leaving. I waved and turned around slightly and said, "Merry Christmas." And they had the bag that we had gave them for the kids, And man, I just felt so good just doing that. I mean, it makes me feel real good.
Another year I liked was the little boy that, and we shared this with the girls. He could put anything down that he wanted.
Wow.
He wanted a diary I remember what he wanted. A Diary of a Wimpy Kid book. Mm-hmm. He was a 5th grader.
Right.
He wanted a bat.
A bat.
And what else? A glove.
And a glove.
And that was it. And I was like, wow. And I'll never forget that time we gave that to him. So giving also was a way that we felt, because at that moment, we didn't have a whole lot of money, but we had enough to give. And
we sacrificed ourselves for someone else.
And in turn, got it back. Other people thought of our children the same way. So I really liked that. And it gave the girls a chance to really see what giving is. And I think it helped contribute to their empathy. They're very caring people. They're always giving to people. Right. And I think giving also has a lot to do with money. And then trust.
And trust.
You got to trust.
You got
when you first in a relationship, it is hard to, you date, you have fun, you be a twinkle in each other's eye and all that. But when you get married and to put your bank account together, you got to trust.
You got to trust
that
this
you
person
paying the bill.
That you paying. That I'm giving you the money to pay the bills now, baby. You come on, pay the bills.
You can't come back home with your Louis Vuitton purse.
Yeah, you come back and you got all these bags and stuff, and
hair done.
And now we sitting up in the dog.
Paying half on it.
Yeah.
Or vice versa. You can't go and pay the bills and paying half on it, and then you come back with some rims on your car. And,
exactly. It goes both ways.
Smelling good and Beijing in your hairline.
Not the Beijing. Now, what? Hold on. Now,
get them extra services at the barbershop.
I would have took you saying I came back in some new Air Maxes and something like that. But you didn't went too far with the Beijing.
You get the Beijing. That's
I ain't even started the Beijing yet, but I believe she's trying to say something. She's saying something, y'all.
Yeah, you get the Beijing, the extra services. Yeah, so anyway, I think that's our take on finances. It may be a little less traditional than what some people would expect.
And you just have to work together. Yeah. That's the main thing.
It worked when we had $30 left over, and now it worked when we got XYZ left over. You know what I'm saying?
But that's our blessing, though.
Yeah, baby. It is.
That's our blessing
it's
that
our
we
blessing.
are getting back. And however God blesses you, when He gonna bless you, you will never know.
Yeah, you're right.
He's gonna bless you according to how He wants to bless you for what you have done.
Yeah.
And how you live your life.
Yeah, and treat people. I look around sometimes, and I guess I'm harder on the Christian folk because I'm a Christian person. And I just see sometimes you can be on every level of Christianity and still just need to slow down.
Sometimes it just go over the head like whew.
Yeah.
And they don't think it don't pertain to them or that they doing the right thing, and sometimes they're not doing the right thing. If you're doing the right thing, God will bless you.
Yeah, He'll bless you.
He will bless you.
Yeah, you got to pray and wait, and do your part as far as action of loving and caring for people. And a lot of times when you're going through something, to me that's the best time to execute your love, your gratefulness toward people. Because a blessing is coming. a blessing is coming. You can't get it easy, God went through what he went through.
And it'll come in disguise. That blessing will come in disguise. You won't even know it.
And I get chills when it happens. We have so many stories of that. I'll just be like, I'll cry and everything. Can you believe? What? Can you believe that? What?
Something just coming to mail.
It'd be so big. It'd be so big and so much. You have the out onlookers thinking you desire, but God will give you things.
He will take care of His.
Yes, He knows your heart and your desire. I'm not a purse person. I do like a vehicle. I don't have to have one every year, but I like to ride nice and I take care of whatever it is that I have. But He know that. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. He know that about me. So when I get, I'm like, ooh wee. I'm excited. I love that.
Yeah, even when I got my truck that time, I
remember the look on your face.
I was looking around at a truck that I was, at the time, I was like, I can't mess with them. I was looking at the prices of them, and I was like, man, I can't afford nothing like that. That's too much money.
And you still love it to this day.
And I'm telling you, I drive that truck still today.
And that gratefulness on it, and that's how I feel. It's not like we have to, it's not like, he got to have the latest and the greatest. It's one of those things that is near and dear to you. You're so grateful for it that, 10 years later almost?
10 years.
Still grateful for it.
Still grateful.
And still taking care of it and things like that. So, yeah, so I think we pretty much touched on, a lot of the things and our take of what finances and
finances
stuff.
go through, or people go through in a marriage or in a relationship. But that's the key. You have to work together. Together. And
so I think it would only be fitting for our hubby's corner and our wifey corner to also be about finances. Uh-oh. Did I throw your curveball?
Oh,
Can you narrow down the hubby's corner to something to do with finances?
Hubby corner and finances. Wow. Let's see. I tell you, if you can just do some of the things around the house to curb any bill that you got. I mean, if you can, anything that you got that I would say with
you used to do all of our oil change. I mean, I was so scared the first time you did our brakes.
Yeah, they I guess they thought the wheels were gonna fall.
I was like, Alvin, is this safe? I was scared.
But see, I'm so mechanically inclined, not to pat myself on the back, but I will take a shot on anything.
But that was in the first 6 months of marriage, and I was used to taking my car to the dealership, and now the girls act like they don't know what the dealership is.
Yeah,
they come to you first, don't they?
They call me.
They know how to pick their parts out.
Yeah.
You taught them how to pick their parts out. They know how to go there and be like, hey, Daddy, they say I need such and such. Yeah. I done went to the AutoZone. I looked at the vehicle in my car. I got the part. When can you put it on? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So you saved us a lot of money. And when you look back on it, you got to think you did all of our oil changes, all of our brake changes, all of our tune-ups. Spark plugs, all that stuff that some people may. You saved us a lot of money because we had a bunch of cars. And one thing we did keep was vehicles. Right. And I think that you really saved money on that. That really made
servicing.
On the servicing. That really made a difference when it came to, we always had our cars we let the dealership touch. Then we also had the vehicles that, you put a wrench on. Right. And that can make a difference when you got to only service maybe 1 or 2 cars in the yard versus
all 5. Y'all kept me busy. Y'all kept
did.
Me busy. Daddy did. Daddy, oh Lord, Daddy.
Baby.
Daddy got to put a wrench on his.
Yeah. So I don't know, the wifey's corner. Now, see, that's funny. I could think about how you saved us money, but then I'm sitting up like you. I'm in the kind of the position too. How do I save us money?
You saved us money by cooking home meals.
Oh, you right. You know what? I did. All the background. We had our Chinese food.
We had out at a restaurant, we could have it at the house.
I could do it,
and you were good at that. You could make that stuff. And I sometimes I was questioning. I was like, I know she ain't finna make us no fried rice. She don't know nothing about no fried rice. And she made that fried rice and that fried rice.
Egg rolls and stuff. And you know what? I do remember that because back then that's when we used to come home for lunch. And because you got to think, we was on a budget. So I had to put all that stuff in our budgeting. So I didn't want us, just because we eating at home, kind of similar now, that we don't have the luxuries of the different tastes of the palates that we like.
Right.
But you're right. Because I remember that time you're like, we're going to have what? I remember you were like,
I'm like,
okay.
Egg rolls?
Okay, you going to make them?
Really? You making egg rolls?
And he was like, "Oh, baby,
do I need to go buy some?
You sure you want me to buy the egg rolls?" Like, I guess you said you gonna make the fried rice and the egg rolls. Darn.
But they
were good.
But saying that, it was tasteful. It was delicious, and I'm telling you, I got more than what they would have put on my plate.
Burritos, all the different places. I guess that I like the different cuisines. If I go there and I try to make it, because sometimes I do kind of want to have my own food. And when you had back then was 5 of us all together, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. So even the girls seeing that you cook the things that you like. We put our little twist on it and stuff. And I like when they'll be like, "Oh, Mama, yours tastes better than that." And Carrabba's, my favorite meal, that spicy chicken and shrimp. We only could get that when it was you and I, and not all of us out. Yeah. Shoot, my spicy chicken and shrimp.
Now that's one of my favorites, and the girls they even like it. We saved on that, because those plates at Carrabba's just with me and you, when we would go, would be almost $40.
$40, and that was like that special night when we would go. So I look back on those times, and I will admit, whenever times in the economy gets like that, I reflect on that when we used to have just $30. And when I look at our account now, our accounts and the things that we have built, I just feel extra blessed, because we still use those same tactics to make it to where we are, to where we can be able to be good parents to our children, and grandparents to our grandchild, and still not having to, I guess what we were like at, never really want to have to depend on somebody else. Now, I know I can. I have a mother I could ask, sister and brother I could ask, but just blessed that I didn't have to. Like every time, just knowing that, I think if I asked, and I think this is the way I was brought up, if I asked, I really need it. I'm not able, I couldn't, it's an emergency. And if I do, and I remember one time Mom, in the early years, paid my car note for me. I just felt really thankful. And I remember her saying to me, "Hey, Ann, you paid me back." I'm thinking, of course. Do you remember that? Yes, yeah. I was so like, wow. But at the same time, I felt like I had to do better. And I didn't want to have to do that again. You know what I mean? Because that was just a lot for me to do. So I was very grateful for that. And just knowing that I could ask that was enough.
And you could get it. I also had something like that, something similar. But it was one of my great friends that when I was right before we had got back together, he ended up coming by the house and checking on me, just checking on his friend on one of the weekends. He came by and went in my refrigerator. He didn't see nothing, and he was like, "Come on." I said, where you going? He said, "Come on, go with me." And I said, "Where we going?" He said, "We're finna go up here to the store." He said, "I'm finna go get you some groceries." I said, "Man, get out of here, man. I don't need no groceries." And, "Bruh, don't worry about it. I got you." Yeah. And, when you get friends like that'll come and do stuff for you.
Without you asking.
And, and
without judgment.
Yeah.
Because when you speak of that, I still get choked up.
Because that he didn't have to do that.
He didn't have to.
He didn't have to do that. He knew I was, yeah. We still friends to this day.
Yeah. Good people. Good people. Wow. So that was finances. Yeah. If you have a topic you want us to discuss, you can look us up on coupleforcouples.com. Remember, that's couple, that's me and you, for the number 4, couples.com. Or you can text or send us a voicemail to 762-499-2005. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram.
That's right, Instagram.
And you can find our podcast on most platforms like iTunes, Spreaker, Google Podcasts, and Spotify. Or subscribe to our YouTube channel under C4C, Couples for Couples. And as always, we suggest that you show love.